So it's Chappie, Rollerball, and Elysium all rolled into one? Nice! I mean, it'd take a hell of a producer to... Really? Jeez. Okay. Well, I mean, a confident director who... Okay, you're playing with me now, right? Seriously? Okay, let's do this! So we literally learned nothing from Ghost in the Shell, huh? James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez did this. Together. Just on paper, with no knowledge whatsoever of the actual brand of Alita, this should be the coolest thing ever. You know what sucks though? It really isn't. Hats off to them for trying something this bonkers as an actual movie, but as is often kind of a risk when Cameron's involved, it's more of a visual effects showreel than it is a movie. And what little of it actually is a movie, well, that more than a little blows. So it's set like 500 years in the future after some planet-devastating war or something, as is always the case. And our heroine, Alita, who's played mocap style by Rosa Salazar, she's a scrapped cyborg rescued from a garbage dump by a benevolent scientist, in turn played by Christoph Waltz, a man you apparently don't want to get talking to about movies at a dinner party. Ask Stefan Pape about that. In true Pinocchio fashion, he gives his new amnesiac daughter a replacement robotic body. He just happened to have one for his dead daughter. And the pair pretty much just eke out a living until one day she gets a boyfriend and decides to enter the local rollerball arena so she can ascend to one of the elite sky cities that floats above them. I know, but somehow this all actually gets worse. See, it's chock full of these grand anime-style action set pieces, like befitting its manga origins naturally, but there's no real heart or accessibility written into any of it, so you kind of just wander from set piece to set piece with all these grand visuals and literally nothing to get you invested. Which isn't helped at all by Alita's grand special effect card being something of a woeful dud. The gimmick here, as becomes pretty obvious straight off the bat, is, well, we're doing human cyborg augmentations with recognizable actors. The caveat to that gimmick being that it's being done badly. So the world looks incredible, everyone who lives in it decidedly less so. Alita herself is the poster child for this. I mean, literally, she's actually on the actual poster. And, well, as cool as they've made her body look, the face is this never convincing, always eerie work straight from the uncanny valley. It's more baffling when you start to specifically ask why, too, because there's no part of that character that couldn't arguably have been done a lot better using prosthetics and makeup effects, only for them to go with mocap CGI instead to, well, increasingly diminished returns. And let's not even get to Ed Skrein as one of the cyborg villains. It's this lackluster element that essentially serves as a reminder of the spider-eyes Dr. Smith from the Lost in Space movie. A movie I'll argue academically runs circles around this. So on the one hand, it's Chappie does Rollerball. On the other, it's AI does Gladiator, or Real Steel does Elysium. There are about 1 billion combinations you can work up, and they nearly all involve better actual movies than Alita Battle Angel, which excels in the whole world building and conceptual design departments, but falls vastly short of the mark in simply being an entertaining or engaging movie in its own right. It's the sort of movie that'll become remembered as having its trailer used to push 4K TVs in shop windows, but then loses your interest just as soon as you venture far enough into the doorway to hear the audio. Salazar herself doesn't get to make too much of an impression as Alita. Like, once you're in the story, she matters surprisingly little despite being the actual title character. And her attempts to inject a sort of wide-eyed wonder in the character fall on deaf ears when the stuff behind her, sort of CG-enhanced set of wide eyes that make you genuinely wonder how they got any of the creative sign-off needed to push this into production. Everyone else in this, well, they're just fine. Waltz is fine, Jennifer Connelly is fine, Mahershala Ali is fine. I mean, think about that. Mahershala Ali, who is in this movie, he's just fine. Nothing more, nothing less, just fine. And that's just the thing, Alita Battle Angel is never anything more than just fine. Rodriguez does a fine job helming it, but his vitriolic swagger's noticeably absent. Junkie XL delivers a score that fails to be memorable, but does manage to be, I don't know, can you guess? That's the whole thing. It's fine. It's not a, why would you do this, like Ghost in the Shell was. It's more a, well, why would you bother? Or, better yet, who on earth did you make this for? Because, well, it seems to have no direct audience save for the people who know and love the original source material. And even then, wouldn't they be the first people likely to dump all over this? It's not inventive enough to be remembered for its creativity or for bringing its story to the screen, and it's not creatively distinct enough to be memorable as a work of either of the two cinema giants attached to it. To be honest, it's mostly a time suck, a hole down which to dump 2 hours of your time in exchange for sort of mid-heft meh. You won't dislike it, but you won't be in any way interested enough to begin to like it either. 2 stars from me, and please, please, please don't tell me I have to sit through a new version of Akira in like 2 years. So something else that arrives in cinemas this week, and mercifully is way, way better a movie than Alita Battle Angel, is the documentary América. Named not for the country, but for a 93-year-old grandmother named imaginatively enough, America Serrano. This has been shot apparently over 3 years, and it follows the lives of 3 adult brothers who've been forced to take on sole caretaker responsibilities for their grandmother, while they simultaneously work to arrange for their release of their accidentally incarcerated father. It's not a vast investment of time, it's a tidy 76-minute affair, but it's very sweet and it's very moving. The way in which we're shown the 3 brothers undertaking different elements of their grandmother's health care with the same sort of unquestioned execution with which you'd fix the sink is, well, that's both engaging to see unfold and also just kind of inherently charming. Helps as well that the 3 brothers themselves have more than a dollop of charm to spare. They're all street entertainers too, as we're shown. For me though, the real stars here are the directors Eric Stoll and Chase Whiteside. Stumbling across a great story to tell in a documentary is one thing, pulling it off in a great way is another. And they more than do that here with a well-balanced sense of distance that draws you physically in, not specifically when it's meant to be tense, but actually quite the opposite. I thought it was a really great documentary and one absolutely worth giving a watch. 3 solid stars from me. America, sweetest lady. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review.